Hey friends, today I'm going to give a quick update on my portfolio and I will answer the question on how long will it take to build a large portfolio. Let's dive in. In this report, I'm showing as of November 26. So since the previous update that I gave, the portfolio value has increased slightly to about 195,000. The share position has been the same. I have not added into any of my portfolios, but instead I have initiated a short-term positions into companies called Palantir. So this is not a shares ownership, but instead it is a call options that mature by end of this year. I bought the call options at the price of about 500, and right now it has increased to about 660. My plan for these stocks, right, is that I will actually try to sell it off soon because I don't really have a conviction to these stocks. It's just that the price has increased so much in the past weeks, right? So there's a bit of fear of missing out. So that's why I just bought up call options so that if the price really increase a lot more, then at least I can get some returns. But this is not really a long-term position, so I will not go into the details here. Next, I will move on to answer the question of how long will it take, right, to build a large portfolio. In my opinion, 195,000 is not really a big portfolio, but it will actually take some time to build this. In previous video, I mentioned that I took 3 years to build this portfolio, but I just want to give a bit more details here. Okay, I'm actually 34 years old, and I have been building my portfolio for actually like more than 10 years now. It's just that for Interactive Brokers specifically, I only opened these accounts 3 years ago. I'm 34 years old now, and I actually started working at the age of 23. So if you look at these calculations, right, what I did here is that these are the key assumptions here. Just put in the age, the portfolio value at the start, how much are we going to contribute to the broker account, and then how fast or what's the growth that we put into the account. Because imagine that if you started with initial salary of at relatively low value, and then you might actually increase your contribution to the brokerage account over time, right? So here, this is the assumption. And then lastly, I think the most important assumption is, of course, the investment return. So for simplicity, right, I will just put in the input here. And let's say if I started working at the age of 23 and put in 600 per month, which means 7,200 per year. And then just based on the investment return assumption here, I'll just calculate, right? So if you look at the projection here, I'm currently at the age of 34. If I work for 12 years according to these assumptions, actually to hit a net asset value or portfolio value of 190,000 plus is something that is shouldn't be that difficult, because here you see I only assume $600 of contribution. For now, let's say I started with 34, let's say 33 years old, right? Okay, 34. And let's say if I just continue to dollar cost averaging with let's say a $2,000 here, okay. Investment return, let's to be more conservative here, even if I try to bring it down, right? Because in the past 10 years, it is a bull runs, but we don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 years, right? It could be there's some hiccup in the market. So let's say over the next 20-year projection, I reduce the return assumption to, let's say, 7%. Okay, so okay. So if I started with 190,000 now, right, and continue to invest into the portfolio even at a $2,000 per month, and of course it is increasing every year, it will probably take about another, let's say, 12 years to hit a 1 million portfolio. So I think this 1 million, why 1 million? I think this is a challenge that is difficult enough to actually to hit these values, but also it is not something that is impossible as long as we consistently put money into the portfolio, and as long as the market doing its things right, then I think this is something that everyone could actually achieve. Okay, if let's say you just started now, right, at a young age, okay, and even with the same assumptions, right, you can actually hit a 1 million portfolio by the age of 40. And just for your information, right, this 7 or 10% that I mentioned, right, 10% is actually, you see, from 1993 until now, right, market has generated about 9.5%, and by market here, this is the SPY ETF. So it doesn't really take a good stock picking skill to actually have this kind of returns, because you can just buy an ETF and get a broad exposure to the US market, and you can reasonably expect to get this kind of returns. So of course, if you have a very good stock picking skill, you can get let's say 20-30% per year, then you can achieve it in a even shorter period of time. I actually have a Telegram group, just in case if you found this video from YouTube, right? So I'll put the link in the description. Feel free to join, and I will probably give some update on the Telegram group as well. Okay, that's it for this week video. Thanks for watching, and see you.